everybody, good evening. Welcome back to another episode with the House of Minutes. I know it's been a very, very long time. I hope everybody is well. Joined with me today, I have
Rachel.
This is Rachel, everybody, and she is a psychotherapist. I need to keep looking at my phone because every time I see it, I think it's physical therapist.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's a psychotherapist.
Yep.
So I'm going to let us know what a psychotherapist is. But before you do, I'm going to guess.
Okay.
So you and the people online can laugh at me and tell me if I'm a crazy person. When I look at the word, obviously I'm thinking about psychology, thinking about the mind. So you...
Get in there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So a mind therapist.
Oh. On the lines, mind therapist. Therapy, yeah. So more to do with like mental health, well-being, how you are as a person, talking about, in general, just you. Kind of similar to a psychologist. So what you think of them is kind of similar. Basically do the same stuff.
What's the difference between a psychologist and a psychotherapist?
Basically just your career path and your education route is quite similar in the things we do. So we kind of both focus on individuals' well-being and their mental health, and then we also just work in that similar sector around.
Nice. So it's to do with your health.
Yeah.
Your mental
well-being, yeah.
Okay, lovely. So how did you get into doing that?
Ooh, long path journey. So obviously I think it started off, and then that went into like pursuing that undergrad. So I did psychology.
Can I ask, Rachel, when you were, did you say college?
Yeah, sixth form.
Sixth form. So what did you study in sixth form?
I did psychology, English lit, and sociology, and then I did chemistry as an AS.
So from there, why did you pick psychology?
I think it was the people I was around. So my teacher, she was like 10 out of 10, and she just kept on like pursuing like, okay, you can do this, like you're doing really well, and I was doing so well in the subject, and I was like, you know what, let me just carry on studying. It's so interesting.
So did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really did. I found it really interesting, like just not that I could read people's minds, but I was like, I can understand why you're doing that in that type of people's behaviors and how they like responded. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how old are you, if you don't mind us asking?
I'm 24.
You're 24?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're young, man.
Yeah, baby.
So are you studying right now?
No, I'm not studying right now.
Okay.
So I'm free from education right now.
Okay, so have you qualified? You graduated?
Yeah, so I've done my master's, did that at Queen Mary's in mental health and psychological therapies, and then I'm hoping one day to pursue clinical psychology, so that's another 3 years.
Okay, nice. So just want you to talk us through a bit more of your studying journey, because we do have a lot of students that tune in and watch as well.
Yeah.
So how was that? How did you find it? Any tips and tricks?
I found, like, for example, uni, I did find that quite difficult. I found, like, the independence of going from, like, sixth form where, like, teachers just do everything and help you throughout the way.
In sixth form?
That's what I found. I felt they gave me everything for me.
Did I go? I don't think I went to sixth form. I went to college, but I studied drama. But I don't remember, I don't think my teachers were very nice. So that's good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, Rachel. Okay, that's good that they helped you.
Yeah, but I just think when I went to uni, I was just doing a lot of things by myself, so it was kind of much more difficult. So what I had to do is very much be organised, and then that went through the first 3 years. And then when I did my master's, I did it during COVID. So I was saying before, like, I loved it because I was kind of just working.
Did you?
Yeah, I was just working from home. I didn't have to go into the lecture theatres. I was in my pajamas 24/7.
So, you know, there's always group work and stuff in uni. Did you do group work?
Oh, don't talk about it. I hated group work. They were horrible. Like, I just thought I have to rely on someone else to do work, and then I just didn't like it. I'd rather just do it by myself, but that's just my own personality, really.
Okay, so you studied during COVID, and then when COVID finished, were you still studying, or did you have anything else left to study?
No, because I was working at the same time. So I was working in a school at the same time as doing my master's. So it kind of just coexisted together. So once I finished my master's degree, I kind of carried on just working in the same setting until I could then change roles, really. But yeah.
Okay. I just want to backtrack a little bit, just because I'm still kind of stuck on the word. If you could name what you do, your profession, in a different word or in a different way, how would you define it?
How would I define it? Someone who makes your brain more healthy, I guess.
Okay.
So a healthy brain, healthy lifestyle.
You're a therapist?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so people will book you to sit down and say, okay, these are the things that I'm going through.
Yeah.
And then you would notice the different patterns and stuff that are going on in their mind, and you would explain to them.
So not really explain, but guide you to kind of figure it out for yourself.
Okay, so can we have a little session now then?
Hi, how are you today?
Wait, I have to pick the topic first. Let me think about what we're going to talk about. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Hi, how are you today?
Hi. No, I'm good. You?
I'm good, thank you. What would you like to talk about today?
Is that how you started?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know your life. That's you telling me.
Ah. I would like to talk about tiredness.
Tiredness, okay. So have you been feeling tired for a long time?
I mean, it comes and goes, really, but it's something I wanted to verbally say out loud, just because I feel like it might help.
And then how does that make you feel that you're constantly tired?
More tired.
More tired.
Okay, so I see what you're doing. You talk about the feelings, and then you try and get to the root of the feelings.
Basically, and then you're doing all the hard work.
I was just going to say, you're going to make me do all the talking, aren't you?
I literally can sit here and...
No, that's good. Okay, lovely. So, anyone in your family, are they into medicine or anything like that?
No, so it's just me who's doing medicine. So my mum's a teacher. I think that's where I kind of got like the educating route to
That's
keep
why
on
you're smart, basically. Is what you're trying to say.
But yeah, that's kind of where I got that to carry on pushing education, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. What about, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's just started university too, so he's probably partying right now, or I don't know.
Probably at a day party, right?
But yeah, he's studying now.
What's he studying?
He's doing media and business, I believe.
Okay,
and we both went to the same uni, so we both went, or he goes to University of Kent, which is where I went undergrad, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, Rachel, we got a lot of questions online. So people obviously knew that I was going to be speaking to you today. So, people are saying that you're cute. So, I'm going to go into some of the questions. Hello again to everybody online. Please do ask any questions if you feel that you need to. But I'm going to dive into some of these because look, there's literally like loads of questions. The people love you. Okay, so Debbie has asked, how does neuroplasticity work? Did I pronounce it correctly?
Neuroplasticity, yeah. So I think, listen, correct me if I'm wrong, that is kind of the brain and the malleability of how it moves as well. So I think that's kind of the development of, I guess, how things work and then how your brain can be changeable.
Is this something that Debbie could have Googled?
She could have, but you know, asking Rachel isn't going to help her in any way.
Okay. So does this have to do with mental health?
Yeah, anything. Neurodiversity, neurodevelopment, the nervous system. It's all to do with the brain. Yeah.
Okay. When you say neurodevelopment?
So you've got neurons in your brain, and that's kind of what controls.
I feel like I should know this. But I just
biology. Yeah. So and then that's kind of what controls various things to do with like our thoughts, feelings, emotions, medical conditions, and that kind of affects you. Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. I'm going to go to another question. Debbie has submitted loads. This is from Sophia. How much of a role does social media play in the mental health of young people? I think this is a very good question.
I think it plays a massive role. If you wanted to pick one topic, for example, body image, when you look at an individual and how they see themselves, social media is the first thing which you look at. If you look at a teenage girl, they're seeing certain perceptions of how you need to be as an individual. Yeah. That changes your perspective on how you view yourself and your expectations of yourself as an individual. And I think because of that, social media makes you internalize and believe that you have to be a certain way or a certain expectation of yourself. So it can kind of either increase or decrease yourself in like your own mental well-being and your own self-confidence. So I think for a lot of people it's kind of telling them that social media in its sense isn't as much as you think it is. Like what you see
and it's
on
not
that
real.
is,
It's a very, very fake world.
Yeah,
you know.
There's loads of people who will edit their photos, make it seem like that rose-tinted world which you think it is, but in reality it's not.
Yeah.
And that's like such a big thing. So you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, really.
Yeah.
So
love that answer.
Yeah.
Thank you. And can I also ask, following from that question, what do you do personally to kind of guide your mind or guard your thoughts when it comes to social media?
I think, like I said, I have to take everything with a pinch of salt. I see what it is for myself and how I portray things. I'm not going to say everything about my life on social media. So I know, for example, when I'm looking at stuff on social media, I'm not going to see the whole picture. One big thing I do, I just kind of remove things I don't want to see. So if I don't want to see certain things which I think is going to affect me in a certain way, I'll just remove it. Like if I don't want to see certain people who are extra skinny or just something like that, then I'll just remove it completely.
So you know your triggers when it comes to
100%.
social media.
Yeah.
So anything that you think might trigger you, you just remove.
Just remove it.
Love that answer.
You want your social media to be the best thing for you. Like it's to be enjoyed, not to.
Exactly. It's your app on your phone. You know. No, that's a really good answer. Thank you. Another question is, how do you stay self-aware?
I think for myself, it is like having a full picture perspective. I kind of make sure that I like check myself and I see what's going on in the world around me. So whether that's like checking in with friends or family and then asking their opinions and then asking for them to give me advice. Or I guess another thing is kind of writing things down so I know, all right, this is how my day's gone. It makes me more accountable and aware of what's going on in my life. Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. So everybody online, please continue to I really like that answer. Like I said, we have thousands of questions. So I'll try my absolute best to make sure that we can accommodate everybody's questions. But just want to go back to your journey a little bit more. So after you studied, you said that you went to work, you're working. So tell me about do you remember your first day? And is it at a hospital?
No, it was in a school. It was in a school as well. Yeah. So I did placements during education, but my first like official role was in a grammar school, and it was scary. I was like, I have to wear the nicest outfit and everything. And then I remember.
For what ages?
It was secondary school, and it was all boys.
They're ruthless there, man.
I think I've gotten used to them now, but at the beginning I was like, oh my gosh, this is scary. But I just think it was really nice. Like I was in a really welcoming and warm setting. It was just so nice to me. And if I didn't understand something, someone just always helped me. Yeah. So it was really nice.
Okay, no, that's great. And do you remember your first session with one of the young boys? Do you remember your first one? Yeah. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Look, what he said.
If you ever saw it, I literally just bawled out crying.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything came out and I was like,
was he crying?
Yeah, he was crying.
He was
crying. And then I was like, okay, this is as expected, but it went well. And I think afterwards we got such a good bond together because he just felt comfortable just to say everything. Yeah. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like you just gave me all of that to say.
Okay, so you have the ability to make people want to open up and feel a bit more comfortable. Do you think that maybe he doesn't do that stuff at home?
Yeah.
And you were like his safe space kind of thing?
100%. I think a lot of things to do with people like opening up is because I'm a different person from like the environment which they're kind of in. So being able to say it's like a blank canvas, which is what I am, is the best way for them really.
Okay, love that. And how long ago was that?
It was about 2-3 years ago now.
Okay. How would you say you've evolved since then? Have you noticed certain patterns in the guys? Are there certain things that you just know exactly what to say and how to respond? How do you think you've evolved?
I think when I first started, I wanted to stay to things on the book, like things I was taught in like education, like, okay, we're going to do it this way and then I have to analyse it afterwards. Now I'm just like free reigning, like I just go to a session and see what happens.
You're just ready now.
Yeah, I think I just
a lot
like
more confident.
Yeah, I think I just like to things like on the spot, like, okay, you tell me this, I can work it out in my head at the moment. And I think that confidence came over time really.
Love that. It's amazing. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit more about your day-to-day. What's the typical day in the life?
Wake up, attempt to wake up, I guess.
Yeah.
And then once I get to my workplace, I kind of have a set schedule of kids I'm going to see.
So do they kind of book you in advance?
No,
or?
so the setting I'm in is every student has access to therapy, and it's depending on their needs, they get to see me or not. So I already know the students who I would have because they're scheduled in. And then from there, I kind of know the certain topics I need to talk about.
Got you. Okay.
So once I, for example, will go collect the first student or the first person I'm working with, I then would just see what they want to do, really. Because like I said, I'm quite flexible. If they want to go, for example, for a walk or they want to go for a drive, that's how we'll have the session. And then I'll let them
You go for a drive? They want to go for a drive?
Yeah, I'll go drive in the countryside with the kids in the session. It's quite nice.
Nice.
I'm quite lucky. I kind of can do what I want to do in a session.
It sounds like it.
Anything I want, they will literally let me do, which I'm kind of happy. And then, and then I know the topic I'm going to talk about with the kids. They kind of tell me about their week, and I'll just ask them, and that's literally how it goes, quite daily. Other things I would do kind of is reports, being in meetings, all that boring stuff.
Oh, you have to know everything down, the date and blah, blah, blah.
Basically, I'd kind of have to make like notes about the session to kind of know what's going on, etc. Yeah.
Has there ever been, anything really bad happen? Like, for example, you've had a session with a child and you've written some stuff down, and then you've heard that something really, really bad happened.
Afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, always. I think half the time you kind of know that the reason they're in therapy is because they need support. And then sometimes you realise that afterwards they might need extra support because of what's happened. Because it's not, once they leave the session, they're still living their lives. So they have to keep on going through the day-to-day world of what's going on. So when they come to the next one, I've kind of heard through like the grapevine, like, oh, okay, this has happened, and like safeguardings or whatever happens, so you have to report it in that way possible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have someone who's asked a question saying, how do you create plans for the children?
Okay, so I kind of create a safety plan with most kids. Because I work in an education setting, most of their work, the plans which I do is based off the EHCPs. So that's the educational healthcare plan, where it tells me all their needs, their diagnoses, etc. And I work with the kids to mainly work about what their goals is for therapy. Like, why do they want to be there? Do they feel like they need it? And we set targets for individuals. So that would normally be, for example, do I need to overcome my anxiety? Is that, for example, can I do this thing which I'm nervous about, and how long can I do that for? And then we review it like maybe every few months.
So going into your conversation with the children, you have an objective.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want to get out of today. These are the key things I think we need to speak about, and these are the questions I want to probe and ask.
Yeah, they don't know that, but
I think I could be a therapist.
I think you can.
I think so.
Are you going to test it?
No. No, not today. So Sophia Online says, how has moving away from home for a new role affected your mental health? And any tips? I didn't even know you moved away from home.
Yeah.
So what area are you from? You can just say so people don't come and talk you.
So originally I'm from like East London, and then I moved to Suffolk for the role which I'm in right now.
How far is that from East London?
It's about an hour and a half. Okay. And then the school which I work is 2 hours, over 2 hours away. It's been difficult because obviously you're just by yourself 24/7, and then I think you have to have a lot of like independence. So I think it's a lot of like making sure I can check in with like friends and family all the time. Coming back and just setting myself goals for myself, like going to the gym, setting myself own personal targets. Like I was saying before, like I have my own horse riding lesson coming up soon, so I'm so excited for that.
You've got a horse riding lesson?
Yes.
Did you tell Leah this?
Yeah, I did.
You guys, yeah.
So I was like, things like that I'm really excited for, because I said, all right, you're doing that. And it's like, it's an adventure. Like I wouldn't have the opportunity to do it any other time. So yeah.
Okay, so you work there and you stay there Monday to Friday, or do you go back home after?
No, majority of the time I just stay there like majority of the week, unless I come back home just to visit friends and family. Yeah.
Okay, nice. I don't know, that you really have to love what you're doing to literally go and drive or move like 2 hours away and stay there Monday to Friday.
I think it's just, I'm very determined as a person, and I know like I want to do things to help people, and I see the impact on it. So it's just like, if I know I can help people in whatever setting I can, it's good. And then it's for me as well, it's learning, like staying in the same setting all the time isn't good, because you kind of just become desensitized to it. Yeah, so just being in an uncomfort zone is the best thing, really.
Love that. Wise words. So what's the goal in the next 3 to 5 years? When you say you're quite determined, are we going to see your own therapy clinic?
Oh, yes.
Or your own school? What's the plan?
100%. I want to work, have my own private practice. For me, the like big goal is to do clinical psychology. So that's another studying session.
Clinical psychology.
It's basically exactly the same what I do now with the doctor title. But it's a bit more in depth, bit more like, the clinical setting and what I'm working in, more hospital based. Maybe I hope the clinical psychologists don't take me for that, but that's I think what I want to do. So that's another 3 years of studying. So when I do get on,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
very, very good. Okay, lovely. Is there anything you change in your role?
What would I change in my role? I don't know. I don't think I would change anything. I just wish, like, I always want to have more knowledge. Like, I think that's a big thing. So the more knowledge and information I have, I think it would always be beneficial for me. So then I can kind of know what to do. So if I have a certain student or patient I'm working with and I've never worked with their, for example, diagnosis, I would think that's something good to have.
Okay. And do you have a therapist? How do you kind of, what is the word? How do you navigate your thoughts and make sure that your thoughts are healthy and that you're good? See, I could do this, innit? See?
Everyone needs a therapist. Honestly, seek therapy. Regardless if you think it or not, it is literally just a place to express your thoughts, what you're going through, and you just can have your own personal perception of yourself. I think doing that is the best way to just, like you said, like take accountability of your lifestyle and what you want to do. So I think that's one big thing which I'm very grateful I've done. I think another thing which is good about me is just I have a really good support network. So seeking out friends and family where you can just talk to them and just say anything you want kind of allows that to happen in the best way possible. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Another question, how do you not take things home? For example, like after you finish having like a therapy session with a young guy, and some of the stuff he said are like they're really a bit dark, and you feel like really sorry for him. How do you not take some of those things home with you? Because you do it every day.
100%.
Yeah.
I think one thing like being therapy, you become not desensitized because it happens so often. I've kind of known that like, okay, this is something which I have to get used to. But one thing I do for myself, I have a good clinical supervisor. So if I'm ever stuck or I'm on a case, like I would speak to them about it so that that they can just like give me support where needed. Or I could just speak to like the other workers I'm working with if I need support in that way. For me, myself, my personality is like, I love keeping things to myself. So I'm quite good at just not taking it home. I think once I leave work, I have kind of a rule, like the door's shut, like I can't take it home because I know that's not going to help me in any type of way. You have to kind of like practice what you preach. If I tell the kids to do it in a certain way, or if I tell my patients to do it in a certain way, I have to do the same. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, thank you. And what would you say are 3 very, very valuable or most important things that you need for your role?
I think, what would I say? 3. First one, I think, is just communication skills. Being able to articulate yourself and speak in the best way possible for someone to understand you is really important. I think you have to be very like nurturing and like a caring individual. You want to help the people, you want to see them thrive and develop, that's important. And the third one I think is kind of just like I said, determination and confidence in yourself. So knowing that you're going to kind of help someone and you're accountable for it, you know that you have to be confident in yourself and that your work is going to work in that sense.
Love it. I don't know, literally when you're speaking I'm thinking, wow, in the next 5 years I can literally see you like being really big. So honestly, you can hear that you love what you do, which is really good. Okay, cool. So some more of the questions. What are your main career goals working in mental health?
I think one thing in mental health I want to push for is like BAME mental health and working in community supports, support networks. I think
Sorry, just for the people who don't know what BAME is.
So Black, Asian and minority like ethnic groups, that's BAME basically. So yeah, just like minority groups. I think pushing for mental health and getting them to have support in the best way possible is something I want to work with a lot. So that's whether changing policies, giving them more access to treatments. That's one thing I want to do.
That's amazing. Cool. Do you have any ideas of how we can give BAME people more access to treatments?
I think it's shared knowledge, like programs like this where people can just talk about things which happens in everyday life is really important. And just having more representation, if you know that somebody wants to kind of get into this career route, like giving them the mentorship or giving them advice where you wouldn't normally get that is literally the best way, because it can, like, if I can do that, of course you can.
Of course,
and then it'll be like, if I need to seek treatment, of course you can, because it's the same way. That's why I think it's really important.
Awesome, thank you. And KT Captures says, have you ever experienced emotional manipulation and how did you deal with it?
I haven't, but I guess you could talk about in the sense emotional manipulation is, I guess, where an individual has kind of coerced you into experiencing certain things and you act in a certain way because of that. I think a big thing of dealing with it is kind of acknowledging that that's happening, which is really difficult because sometimes it happens without you even realising. And I think it's putting your foot down and setting your own boundaries. Having boundaries is a really big thing to kind of stop those things happening in relationships, lifestyle, work settings, etc. And that kind of stops that from happening. Yeah. Okay,
awesome. Thank you. I'm going back to another one. What do you enjoy the most about your current field?
Well, I love helping people. Sometimes when I just see like the smiles on people's faces, or like I know I've made a difference, ooh.
You're like, yes.
Yeah, I did it right. Like, it just makes me so happy. Like, I think one story, like this boy, he couldn't sleep. Like, he was going to bed like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every night. And then one day he just came in and he was like, I went to bed at like a normal time. And I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm so happy. And I was like, just small things like that just makes me like so grateful, like I'm doing something.
You feel like accomplished. Like
yeah, literally. It's just so nice.
Okay, awesome, lovely. Okay, so it's been an amazing conversation so far. We're going to cut to an advert and we'll be right back. I'll see you guys in a second.
Professionalism that draws closer to home. The fundamentals are overlooked, and still, some dedicate their lives so that others can see another day, having a heart to save one. Behind these lives are professionals doing what they love. It's in whom you trust. Systematic geniuses that can't brush their work under the rug to save you and I. A paramedic in an ambulance, a pharmacist at work, a surgeon in the operating theatre, students chatting, someone taking a breather to save a life that puts a smile on someone else's face. Time's ticking. Preparation took our lives to save one. Studied our whole lives to embrace one. Our hearts are uniform before we could even wear them. Our focus means we're the 12th man to assist the injured. A squad, a league of legends. We are necessary. We are not artists, but our attention to detail is key. We are not teachers, yet we equally care for students. We are not mechanics, yet we have to make sure there's enough oil in the tank to keep an individual healthy. We are not your bosses, but we let you know if you're well enough to work. We are medics, a house of love, curators of indispensable knowledge, innovators, the masters of arts. We are counted on, and that responsibility we hold with dignity.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. So if you're just joining us, we have been in conversation with Rachel. Do I call you Dr. Rachel?
Oh, not there yet, not doctor yet.
Okay, we're going to speak into existence. We've been in
Yes,
conversation
manifestation.
with Dr. Rachel. Could you tell everybody who may have just joined us what you do?
Hi, I'm a psychotherapist, so I work with individuals in mental health, giving them therapy for a variety of settings which they may need. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So the reason I have my phone in my hand is because I have a lot of questions that have been submitted for Dr. Rachel. So let us continue. Let me choose. No. Okay, cool. How do or did you balance studying and employment?
That, I think, it did help because of COVID, but I think a big thing was organisation. One thing I have like always on my desk is like a tick box. So I set a plan of what I need to do for the day.
Yeah.
When it came to my dissertation, again, I was very like disciplined. I made sure I stayed after work. So after my shift was done, I know I'm staying like 3 hours extra to just sit and type my dissertation.
Make sure you get stuff done.
Yeah, because then I think when I go home, I don't want to be taking work. I don't want to be taking uni work home. I like to lay on my bed and just relax. So that's literally what I want to do.
Awesome. So you put the work in, and when it's time to relax, you just relax.
Yeah. I think another thing with COVID, because they like didn't do lectures, I still was very motivated to go into the uni setting. So when the libraries were still open, even though there was no lectures in person, I used to watch the lectures on my laptop at the library. So I still had to wake up, go to the university, then come back home.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And somebody has asked, how did you secure your latest role?
Oh, I think maybe this is imposter syndrome speaking, but I think I was very lucky. So I was kind of recruited for the role. So they called me up on the phone. I was like, oh, we have a role for you. We want to know if you would like to come. I was like, yeah, sure. Is it in London? They're like, no, Suffolk. I was like, oh, okay, no.
Wait. Who called you up? How did they find you?
I think it was through LinkedIn or something like that. I don't. Maybe it was my page. I don't know how they found me. That's the universe, probably.
So is there like a portal where you can just apply for that stuff from the uni, or you just apply online as normal?
So I think some uni portals have them, but I think because I put myself quite out there, like quite a lot of platforms like LinkedIn, social media, stuff like that, like my details were quite open for people to find me. So when they recruited me, they were just like, oh, come visit the school and see if you would like it. And I saw it and I was like, this is so beautiful, like I want to come work here. But it was just a decision if I wanted to move there or not. Yeah.
Is it a private school?
Yeah, so it's a private school, but it's like government funded. So no one really pays money to, like the people don't pay money to go there. The government does, but it's private school, yeah.
Got you. Okay, thank you. And someone else has said, what struggles did you face in your degrees and how did you overcome them?
I think one struggle, it's just asking for help. I think because it was a lot of independent work, I kind of had to figure out a lot of things by myself. So I think in first year and second year, one big thing was like, I didn't really know that you could go ask your lecturers and like...
for help?
Yeah, I just used to sit there and just struggle.
Why?
So it took me to
how?
it just took me to like second year to go ask people like, okay, I really don't know what to do.
But why did you think that you couldn't ask?
I don't know. I just sat there and I just like, everyone just seemed to know what they were doing and I didn't really know that you could go like to office hours and go ask.
Yeah.
And then when I hit my master's degree, that's all I ever did. Every 5 seconds I'll be like knocking on their door. And it's hence why I did well. So 'cause I just asked them 24/7.
Good. So tip for people that want to study what you studied, ask questions.
100%, 24/7. Even when you find them annoying, they find you annoying, carry on asking the questions.
Your degree, you're the one that has to ask, so ask the questions. Very good answer. Someone says, what are your triggers or your tell signs of your mental health? I think they mean that your mental health is struggling, and what do you do?
I think for me, it's my mood. I will just start going grumpy as anything. And then I think like that, when that happens, I kind of get into a slump. I don't want to do the normal things I want to do. So like I don't want to go gym. I'd rather just stay in bed and order a takeaway. So I think I have to very much push myself to do those things. I think it doesn't help. Now that it's summer, it's much better because I can go out for walks and kind of have my own time.
The sun just helps with everything, though,
literally,
just in general.
Literally. This weekend's been lovely. So so I think that's one thing. I just have to really motivate myself when I just don't want to and like acknowledge it. Maybe talk to someone about it. That's one thing for me, yeah.
Would you say it's bad to, you know when people say, my mental health is bad, or like you just said, stay at home and have a takeaway. Is that bad?
No.
Is it bad to have a bad day?
No, never bad to have a bad day. I think you have to acknowledge that your day's never going to be always happy. It's going to be up, down, left, right and centre. And just like taking time when you need it is important. But you have to know when it's too excessive. Like, when are you doing it so much that it might be a problem for yourself or others around you? And then you have to seek maybe support or find yourself strategies to help yourself. Yeah.
Okay, I love that answer. Thank you. How do you use I feel like I'm just asking you. Yeah, I'm so sorry. This is what they wanted to. This person needs to message you, because this person has sent a lot of questions. This person said, how do you use the relationships in your life to support your mental health?
I think you have to be very selfish. Know what people are going to help you in the best way possible. So if you know someone's there to like motivate you, you speak to them.
Yes.
Or if you know someone's going to like, I don't know, give you good advice or give you like strategies and tips, speak to them. Know what person is there for you and like talk to them, use them in that way.
Love that. Someone said something to me before. They said, know who people are to you.
Yeah.
So that it sounds exactly
Literally.
like that as well.
Yeah.
And it will help you manage your relationships as well. So I love that. How do you regulate your mood? These questions are from the same person. Idea.
They must love me.
Yes.
Message me.
They need to message you. They obviously need the help. No, I'm joking. Yeah. They've asked, how do you regulate your mood?
I think for myself, I do quite a lot of mindfulness and breathing techniques. So if I know that my mood might fluctuate, I kind of just sit in silence and like breathe in and out for like 30 seconds, and it kind of just calms me down.
Does it?
Yeah, it just brings me back into like a space.
That would frustrate me even more.
Oh no, it took time, but I think that's one thing I do. Or like, I just look around the room and I just try to count things or just distract my mind, and then it kind of brings me back into like ground zero of quiet and peacefulness. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Do you feel like you have faced any barriers in your profession due to your ethnicity? That is a good question.
I would have to say, yeah. I think one thing I did learn, like being a practitioner and working in mental health, is that especially in the settings you work in, it's a very, the diversity is very slim. I think now that I've worked in Suffolk, and it's a very like predominantly white area, you're very much a minority and people don't really understand or expect certain things from you, and then you have to very much kind of motivate yourself and motivate them to understand you in a certain way. And that can be very like demoralizing and difficult being like a practitioner, because half the time you are the minority. There's not going to be a lot of people like you. So you have to very much, again, big word, like determination, and like know that you are in that setting for a reason. I think that's why one of the big things is like to push like BAME, mental health, BAME practitioners to work in certain settings, because we need more representation, because it's really difficult in the setting we're in.
Okay, thank you. And another question following on from BAME, do you find the perceptions, this is a long one, do you find the perceptions of mental health in the BAME community prevents you from having an impact, because some cultures don't agree that mental health is a real thing?
Yes, religions, cultures, so many. Religion, mental health can be seen as so many different things. Some religions deem it as like an illness, and it's something which demons might take over you and stuff like that. So it's kind of re-educating people in like this setting which we're in, to kind of get them to understand it in a better way. I've worked in like different demographics where that's been very difficult. So doing community work and outreaches to get people to understand it in a better way is a big thing. But that's why I guess re-educating people and putting out information for people is the best way for people to know it.
Thank you for the answer. I find that even in my place of work, a lot of people are really taking into consideration people's mental health. Like it's everything everyone's talking about now. I was making something at work the other day, and the colour that I made the certain thing, the person said, oh, let's not make it that colour because people with dyslexia, like they might not be able to read it. And I was like, whoa, like I wouldn't even think of that. But people are really, really thinking about people's well-being now.
100%.
A lot. It's literally everywhere what everyone's talking about.
I think that's because of COVID as well. Since COVID, there's been a big like push for it, because
Push on
people
it,
were
yeah.
by themselves, people were alone, and that's when you really saw the impacts of it.
Like
and
people
how
are actually not well.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And if you're not well, how are you going to be doing work? How are you going to be living your life? It doesn't make sense. So pushing for the basic, if you're going to focus on physical health, focus on your mental health, and you can do everything you want to.
I didn't think that having bad mental health was like a real thing. I thought it was something that, you know, people who listen to like punk music, like they're just not all right kind of thing.
But think to yourself, like, when you've had a bad day, like, do you do anything which you want to do? Like, are you effectively working? Are you effectively doing things? So, like, you can see how much it affects so many people. But then even, like, look back, you're saying, like, you didn't understand it. If you look back to when you were in school, like, even, like, different generations, do you think they pushed for it for you to understand it as much?
I didn't even hear about it. I think I learned about mental health and mind stuff, and having like an off day, from COVID is what I'd say. Apart from that, I never even discussed it.
That's the thing, and that's what I think is that lack. We don't have that understanding or that education. Like, the same way you can have a sick day for your physical health, you can have a sick day for your mental health day.
Mind,
Get paid for it. Have that day off, because you need those days to rest and stuff like that.
Love that. Awesome. So I'm going to go through a few more questions before we begin to round up. I like this question. It's very to the point, very blunt. Why is mental health important to you?
I think mental health is important to me because it affects everyone. I've seen the effects of it. I see how it impacts people. And knowing that you can help someone to make themselves feel better about themselves is such a I'm so grateful I'm able to do that. And I think being able to support someone in the best way possible is what we can all do. Anyone can do. It's not just me, like, as a therapist, but
Love that answer. So, Rachel, what would you say the importance of words are in this case? Because you kind of speak to people and make them feel better. So what is the importance of, people will call them affirmations. What is the importance of speaking like good words to yourself, positive words about yourself, and hearing those kind of stuff as well?
I think,
how does that affect the mind, would you say?
You internalize
Sorry
it.
That I've asked you 10 questions.
You internalize it. Speaking things into existence, I think it works. Like manifesting, like you said, affirmations. You internalize things and you actually believe them. If you tell yourself, for example, I'm a bad person, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're never going to like succeed, you're never going to do this.
So you then begin to believe it.
100%. You've internalized certain things. If you say things out loud, you believe them. Like in my bathroom, I have loads of little stickers, like just little affirmations, like you're the best person, you can do it. Because I read it every day and then I see it and I'm like, this is so true. Yeah. And it's just like you internalize it, and that's such a good thing. I think everyone should kind of do that. Even if you just write it on a book, scribble it up, put it in like somewhere, it is good. Because
you know, it's so funny, you just reminded me, during COVID, that's hilarious. I had a jar, and when I was having a down day, I would literally open something that I wrote ages ago, and it actually really helps me. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes I just dash it and be like, yeah, whatever. But sometimes it actually helps me. So.
And I think that's the thing. Not everything's gonna work on that day for you.
Yeah.
I think it's literally like a coin flip with mental health and like working on your well-being. It's not every day. It's gonna add on to things, but. You know, if a little bit added to you and gave you that booster, then better that than nothing. Yeah.
Love the answer, thank you. I'm just trying to look at like the best ones because there's so many. This is a good one. Are there any commonalities with regards to the mental health of Black people that you've noticed? That is such a good question. Well, you're not allowed to say.
Oh no, I can say. I think, well, it's kind of a split decision. When you have Black communities, there's certain diagnoses which you're going to majority see in individuals. So, for example, schizophrenia, depression, you get them more diagnosed amongst those groups.
Really?
Yeah.
Schizophrenia?
I think there's a lot of trace backs to reasons. I won't go into too much depth, but they're very biased in the reasons they're given those diagnoses. And that happens quite often. I think within the mental health community, I think we're quite individualistic. So we think for ourselves, we work for ourselves, and that kind of limits us in like how we help our own mental well-being. We don't really have community outreaches, and I think that's why you find those like commonalities. Like black men are more likely to like have suicide attempts and stuff like that because they don't talk about it as much because it's viewed as very much a stigma between these groups, and I think that happens so often. So the more people don't talk about it, which happens in these communities, the more mental health experiences you witness and see.
Good answer. Okay, cool. And let me go to another one. That's kind of the same thing. You already answered this. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome, and how did you deal with it?
I literally said it. Yes, literally the fact that I got my job, I always think to myself, I shouldn't have got this. So, for like people who don't know, imposter syndrome is when you kind of don't believe or you think that you're in a position where you've got something by luck or you shouldn't be there for a reason. And I think that happens for a lot of people. So when I got the role I did, I was like, am I capable? I used to think to myself, someone's going to come in and knock on the door and say like,
sorry love.
Yeah, literally, like you shouldn't be here. But I have to think, no, like I kind of worked hard for this. There's a reason they called me up and said that. So I was like, yes. So kind of putting yourself in that present moment and being like, I'm here for a reason.
Reaffirming.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know, I feel like you have to go through life kind of continually having pep talks with yourself and reminding yourself like, no, I can do it. If I'm struggling, then I'll just do the research and blah, 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 but I can actually do it.
Google is my best friend. If I don't know something, straight to Google,
Same.
like literally.
Lovely, thank you. So I'm going to answer this last question. Your work is really impactful. How do you ensure the child does not go back to their home environment and backtrack on all the hard work because their parents cannot aid their growth?
I think for children, I think the big thing is kind of giving them the strategies to do it independently. So I've kind of accepted that a lot of the people I work with, their parents aren't going to give them the best support and guidance. So you want them to really be encouraged and know that they can independently work. But it's reminding them that if you are going to do this independently, if you do it by yourself, you can come back to me at any point. Like it's not done
by yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And just reminding you, give them like book. I give them so many pieces of paper. Just like remind yourself of these things, and you can keep on doing it. And I think that's why it happens over a period of time. For example, therapy sessions, so that they can constantly be reminded and understood how to work independently and do things by themselves, so they don't have to rely on another person to do them for them.
Love that. I think your role is so important, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming onto the House of Medics platform. Rachel, I'll let you say your social media handles. And are you open to anybody messaging, mentorship, reaching out?
Yes, 100%. If you want any advice, any ideas on how to come into the career, message me. My Instagram page is Psych with Ria. I'll probably link it out there for everyone to see. Please come.
Awesome. I'm going to be messaging there as well. Okay, awesome. So our social media platforms, our Instagram is We Are House of Medics, and that's the same as our TikTok. On Twitter and LinkedIn, it is House of Medics, and online it is houseofmedics.org. Really, really enjoyed today's chat, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Really did like it.
And I hope to see you all at our summer ball that is happening in July. More information will, of course, be out soon. But yes, thank you guys for tuning in, and have a lovely evening.